All right, welcome to another episode of Pitch with Peter. So today I'm excited we're going to be meeting with James with Joule Case. Now, James and his team, they've been working on battery tech for a long time, and they have come up with this really cool modular system that's sold B2B. So a lot of the companies are like big event companies that are putting on, huge concerts and other events. They also use it for backup storage. And what's cool is they have this modular setup, and so depending on what your needs are, you can use it for a lot of different things. So with that said, let's dive into the pitch and hear James tell us more about his company.
Joule Case was founded by Alex Livingston and myself. This is our second battery startup together. In 2015, when we were at a kickball game, and we wanted to have some power, some sound, some light, some some other power as we're hanging out playing kickball, and realizing that there wasn't a good solution for this, and we'd had experience with building a modular battery system for electric vehicles with R2EV previously. And then so, we said, hey, this is a, something that's needed and it's time to build this. And off we went. And obviously the power needs are far greater than, a little kickball game, but, the same concept applies, and really you should just have one universal product package for all of your temporary portable backup power needs, whatever that might be. You don't need a battery system, for your tailgate that's different than your home, that's different than your electric vehicle, whatever it might be. So, what we're building here would be ubiquitous in all facets of your life. What our customers really tell us is that that generator experience is pretty miserable. And some quick statistics for you here. This actually comes from New York City, and they have a lot of street vendors there, of course, right? 20,000 of them to be exact. And we're speaking with them earlier this week, and they talked about how these generators have street vendors working 10 to 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, right next to that generator, and they don't have the pollution controls, the catalytic converters. So they emit more than 42% more pollution, and health harming pollution such as benzene, various different NOx, that exposes those street vendors to 12, 10 hours a day, right? And
Wow.
so, also what happened this week, right, is the federal government passed legislation to help our veterans that are exposed to this to burn pits and the health effects that they're experiencing now. And what you have is you have these street vendors that are exposed to very nasty health pollutions, and it's very much very similar. It's not obviously exactly the same, but at the same time, you're going to deal with some long-term health effects, and there's no help for a street vendor. So
Right.
New York City, for example, is very excited about the solution we have to provide, and that's really just the start of it. At Joule Case, we believe that everyone deserves clean, renewable, reliable power. We design and manufacture battery systems that stack like Lego blocks that can truly ideally size for any application. And what we all intimately understand is that the electricity the world depends upon is no longer reliable. Nationwide, 2020 had 10 times the number of power outages compared to 2000. 70% of all electrical transmission lines are past their 50-year expected life. And these utilities understand this, but they're late to the party. So they're expected to spend a record $120 billion in capital improvements this year, another $120 billion next year, and still have a $300 billion infrastructure shortfall on the electrical grid. So introducing Joule Case. This is the patented portable award-winning tech that has raised over $4 million on its sixth generation. This is addressing the massive $120 billion energy storage market with a 25% CAGR. We can do this at a price point that makes it so it's economically competitive, or an ROI that pays for itself compared to that diesel generator. We also sell to enterprise and utility scale, and then all of these solutions can be solved with our patented product platform that dynamically sizes for all applications. So, really that concept of a small Lego set to Legoland, the amusement park, and having a whole amusement park really applies to our systems. And then so we've gotten so big that we've then put our systems into shipping containers and then outputting the very high power requirements for main stages of music festivals. So be sure to check out our YouTube channel. You can see some pretty cool demonstrations in front of. We did a demonstration in front of Live Nation, AEG, and Insomniac. From there, we've been able to power main stages, a Chicago concert, a Nelly Furtado concert, and a couple others as they've slowly grown beyond the pandemic as well. But that larger system also works for a utility. For example, PG&E, which we all know famously for all of their power outages, have a mandate to ensure that their customers have the power they need, and they fulfill that mandate with account executives. And these executives are tied to the hip to large power customers, and PG&E has been able to deliver power. So these account executives now are selling large enterprise systems to their large B2B customers that might be in rural California that has this. And PG&E has built the trust around this, and this is something that's very exciting for us as we continue to grow and expand. But Joule Case is focused on that small to medium businesses and enterprise that you're looking at a 5 kilowatt to 50 kilowatt type system. Generally, you're replacing diesel generators, and when we are talking to our customers right now, it's Joule Case or it's a diesel generator. Now, absolutely, there's going to be competition that gets introduced into this space, no doubt. But what's also important for these customers is not just that, what's your price point, but also the trust and that it does in fact work. The power that they are choosing to be powered by Joule Case is vital to their business. This is not just a nice to have. If that power runs out, they are out of business, bottom line, right? They can't have that event, that festival. They can't serve their customers, whatever it might be. So what we've learned is that trust and that brand reputation is incredibly important for these customers. It's not that they're going to go to the next product that's cheaper or whatever that might be. And what Joule Case has been able to do is really understand these customers and be able to tell a story that resonates with them, and then back that up with case studies and word of mouth, meaning that we're really building a very exciting brand that the word's getting out there, and people are trusting their power to Joule Case.
Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed that pitch. I know I did. If you liked the business, you can actually put your money where your mouth is and invest, just like all the deals on Pitch with Peter. The link to their WeFunder page is down below. It's just wefunder.com/JewelCase. And you can check out more about the company, read through some more of their documents, some of the other Q&A that they've had. Tell me in the comments what you think of this deal. I'll tell you, here's some things that I really like. I like the fact that the two founders have been working together for a long time, and they've been working on battery tech. They clearly know this industry inside and out and have what seems like a real competitive edge around battery technology and kind of like where the opportunities exist to have a real meaningful impact. The other thing that I really like is that they have found customers that have a definite need for this product, right? Can you imagine going to Coachella and knowing that Coachella was using gigantic generators to power the whole thing that were putting off tons and tons of pollutants, right? Like that just feels kind of wrong. And you would want to see them using a company like Joule Case and alternative energy and battery storage and so on and so forth. Plus all the benefits are great, like the health benefits and the noise benefits and so on and so forth. So I like those aspects of it. I also really like the fact that they've got real traction, real revenue. They're growing the business. They have a clearly defined customer that they're able to really solve a pain point for them. So I think all of those things are great. I'll tell you like some of the things that make me a little nervous. The number one is that hardware is hard. You're going to hear me say that again and again and again whenever I evaluate a company that has a hardware piece of the business. And the reason for that is because it's primarily like a one-time sell, right? You sell that product once and they may or may not come back ever again, right? And you contrast that with like software, and especially software as a service, where, you think about your Spotify account, like you just pay for that $10 every month and you keep coming back to buy from them, and they've got really good visibility into revenue going forward. That's a lot tougher to do with a hardware business. The other thing is when you're selling atoms instead of bits, right? Hardware, you've actually got this physical product. And we talked about that in the video of how do you get this product to your customers, right? You've got shipping and everything else. And as part of that, you also have like these complex supply chains, right? Where these batteries and, you're taking different raw materials and those have to be shipped to a central place. And then that needs to be manufactured and that has to be shipped to retailers and wholesalers and then distributed. And anytime that there's a major issue, like a boat gets stuck in the Suez Canal, right, you run into potential issues. So hardware just generally is hard. Also, margins tend to be lower than software, right? Good software margins are like 70, 80, 90% gross margin, whereas good hardware margins are maybe like 40, 50, 60%. And when you have lower gross margins, it's just less revenue that you have, less cash to spend on other things to help grow your business. The last concern I have is that it feels like this is kind of a competitive space. And well, I agree that they've totally found this really interesting niche that they can play into. There are a lot of other battery companies out there, and so it's kind of a noisy environment, and they'll have to really figure out how do they rise above their noise and tell their story. That said, I think they can do it, and really grateful for the time with James. And look, if you're comfortable with those risks and you can really see the upside and the vision that James outlined, then maybe this is an interesting investment for you. Check out my other Pitch with Peter video where we hear the pitch from Jeremy, who is the founder and CEO of RAD. Thanks.